Hello, this is Kona, and what I thought I would do is just kind of work through a problem in Minitab and make sure to focus on the stuff that you were having problems with. And also, please, please, please do not apologize for asking questions. This isn't a face-to-face class. You don't get to see me in class a couple times a week and ask these types of questions. And not only that, this is my job. So yes, I get paid to answer your questions. So seriously, feel free to ask questions. And just last, everything we do pretty much from here out in the semester is based off of these kind of foundational basic skills and knowledge of how to do this stuff. So if you don't get this, you're not going to be able to get this stuff further on in the semester. So it's really important that you get this. So please ask your questions. Okay, so let's start. A national survey found that 60% of the American population would date someone based on their personality. So the results of that are in this column right here. Date personality. No, I wouldn't. Yes, I would. We surveyed college students, and from our results, I think the proportion of people who would date someone based on their personality is less than 60%. So I think college students would not date someone based on their personality. They would instead date someone based on the looks. I mean, we didn't ask that question, but basically that's what we're looking for. So we surveyed college students, and for our results, I think the proportion of people who would date someone based on their personality is less than 60%. So this is the alternative, which is the alternative. This is and actually I'm going to put it down here. The null and complementary hypothesis is that more than or an equal or equal to 60% of the students said they would date someone based on their personality. Okay, so there's your null and your complementary. So the first thing we would do is let's go ahead and get our proportions. And this, so we're going to go to stats, tables, tally individual variables. We don't want gender, we want date personality, and let's click OK. So what we're finding is that 48% say they would not date someone based on their personality. And 51.29% said they would date someone based on their personality. All right, so for the proportions, no would be equal to that 48.71, and yes was 51.29. So those are the people who would. Also, this is where you would check to make sure that we have enough, and so that's where you would then also, you could multiply that times the 1004 to double check that you have more than 10. So where I'm not going to do that part because you just specifically asked about the proportions part, but this is where the proportions, it's just basically that 48% and that 51%. Percent. That's what we're looking for. Because, and why is this? Well, first of all, if you get these percentages, you can kind of eyeball that. And so my null is that, I'm sorry, our alternative, and this is our original claim, is that less than 60% would date someone based on their personality. So I think less than would date based on their personality, so they would say yes. So I'm testing the yes, and I'm saying less than 60%. Well, just eyeballing it, is 51% less than 60? Yeah, so honestly, I'm thinking we might be on the right track here. But now let's just go ahead and analyze those results. So we're going to come up to stat, basic stat, one proportion. We're going to do date personality, perform the test, 0.60, options. Ours is that it's less than, normal, okay, okay. So this is the big thing. You need to make sure and check right here. Event is yes. Yes is what we were looking at. So remember, we can also look at the number, the X value. This is the number of people you're testing for this one, or also the sample P, which that's the sample proportion right there. That's what we're testing, because you remember I want to know they would date someone, so this is the yeses that we're testing. So this is important that you do see that it is testing the right thing. If not, this is where you flip it so that you test the no's. But right now we're good. So the z-value is right here, z-value, negative 5.63, and here's your p-value right there, 0. What that p-value of 0 actually means is that it's less than, so p is actually less than 0.00005. So what you would have then is your z-score is equal to negative 5.63, negative 5.63, that was right. Yep. And p-value is equal to, is actually less than 0.1235. Okay, so then, based on all of that information, you would say, based on evidence there, and this is an is, and why is this an is? Because this p-value is less than, is because p is less than 0.05. Okay, so based on the evidence there is enough, okay. So yeah, there is enough, oh that's not early, so you know what, you could just say, okay, there is enough evidence to now reject or support. Well, remember, because we started with this one, we surveyed, and I think would date is less than, which is the alternative. Anytime we have an alternative, we always support. So if you start with your alternative, you always support. To support the claim that, so you always start, or you always support if you start with the alternative. If our null would have been the first one, so the one we're actually basing it off of, then we would have rejected. But there is enough evidence to support the claim that, and this is where you basically just copy this right here and paste it in, that the proportion of people who would date someone based on their personality is less than 60%, and you don't need that, which is the alternative hypothesis. You just need that part right there. And that is pretty much it right there. So I hope this helped. So z-value is just literally this value right here in your output. The p-value is right here. The sample proportion is technically this 0.512948, but that's the same thing. You just don't have the full thing. That's the 0.5, but we made it, this is the percent. So basically this is this, which is why proportions, technically those are percents, not proportions. The proportion would be 0.4871, 0.5129, but I don't care if you do it in proportions or percents. It's the same thing. So I hope this makes sense. If not, please let me know, and I will be happy to try explaining it a different way or come in and see me.